Good evening, good evening, good evening. This is the day the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. Another day's journey, and so glad about it, and so grateful for another Saturday evening, 5 o'clock, as we get a chance to just kind of point towards what's going on at the Tab and have some real talk. And I'm excited about who we're talking with today, and we're going to present her, and I think you already know and love her, and so we're grateful to have our mayor. But let me remind you that, of course, we're going to be in worship tomorrow. And I'm also asking you all to keep me in prayer. In fact, I'm going to be with the mayor tomorrow evening at the Ishtar, where we're talking to the larger community about how we all work together and how we all celebrate. Well, that's what's going on over there. Don't forget, we are in our Lenten experience, and it began on this past Wednesday. Thank God for the Black businesses that are joining us, the Quinn Center for Performing Art, Chick-fil-A, Booker's Restaurant. It was amazing. And all next week, we're going to have a different Black business. Every morning, we're going to have a different word from Scripture that talks to us about how we handle our stewardship. And then we're going to pray together. I honestly believe the Lord is doing something with this, and I thank all of you for joining us in it. Also, the Daniel fast. Remember, we are eating fruits and vegetables, drinking water, and we're doing as Daniel did before Nebuchadnezzar. We believe that we're going to be healthy in our minds, in our bodies, and in our spirits, and yes, in our wallets as well. So listen, thank you all so much. But today, she's a daughter of this church. She was baptized here. She was married here. She has blessed her babies here. She's been part of that crew here, and an initial part of why we even got here in terms of, not from the political perspective, but from as a member of this church, being faithful, being at Enon. And now we're grateful that she's giving leadership to our city, our mayor, Madam Mayor Cherelle Parker. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, Pastor, and this is exciting. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Listen, so what we're excited about is a chance to have a conversation with you about what's going on in the city. I ask, and I appreciate you and our governor, Josh Shapiro. I asked both of you to come on because each of you has said in some way, we're willing to work with the administration. And obviously you have to, because you are the mayor of the sixth largest city in the country, and we have a duly elected president. And so you have to. But this is not your words. As I said last week, these are my words. He's like personification of evil to some of us. So the question is, what do you mean by, and how do you work with the administration, and what are the both joys and challenges in this season of being the mayor? What does it mean to work with this administration?
I appreciate the question, Pastor, and especially the framing. You acknowledge that I am the mayor of the sixth largest city in the nation, birthplace of democracy, that unfortunately has the moniker of being the poorest big city in the nation.
Yeah.
When I was on the campaign trail running, asking Philadelphians to give me a chance to lead this city, I told them that I would put my experience as a legislator to work for them with the goal of making Philadelphia the safest, cleanest, greenest big city in the nation with access to economic opportunity for all. And I wasn't afraid to say, and I can't do it alone. We will need federal, state, and our local partners to help us do this. So when you hear me affirm, and I've said it on more than one occasion, no election results will take my focus away from delivering on that vision, because I think that's a part of one of the reasons why people get so frustrated with government and or politics, because they haven't seen it work in their lives. Well, I can't make it work for their lives as mayor if I'm not attempting to secure federal and state assistance. $6.37 billion budget here in the city of Philadelphia. When federal funding, we were preparing for what it would look like, because right now we are working during some times of uncertainty, and we're going through various what we call geometric if-then statements. If this line of funding is stopped, what does that mean for the city of Philadelphia? We have to prep for that. So, Pastor, I have to work with all branches of government in order to lead the city, but I also want to say this. Leadership means to me that I can't allow my pride, my ego, or my emotions to interfere with my ability to deliver for the people that I serve. I liken it to A. Philip Randolph going to see President Lyndon Johnson talking about civil rights. And he says, I'm with you. However, go out there and make me do it. I think there are roles for all of us. And, I was a community organizer. Community organizing is important. Advocates are important. When I think of our spiritual and faith communities, they are important. But I'm the executive. That's right. I'm the CEO of the city. They don't care about what gets cut. What are you going to do to make sure you keep the city of Philadelphia moving? And that means no matter how much I may agree to disagree with a person's politics and or their decision making, I have a right to speak my truth, but people should always hold me and anybody else sitting in this seat or elected. You should hold us accountable for what we deliver, no matter the political environment.
Yeah, and thank you for that. So speaking to that, how federal funds are being threatened to be cut, could you give us a real life what is a real life risk right now, given the political realities? What are the types of things that are impacted in our city because of what he's doing with Elon Musk or anything like that? What's a real life experience?
So I'll tell you one in particular, and maybe this is front of mind for me, because we're working on a housing program for the city of Philadelphia. We've committed to creating and or preserving 30,000 units of housing in the city of Philadelphia.
Okay.
Well, we count on a budget line item that comes out of HUD, Housing and Urban Development, called CDBG funding. That's our community development and block grant funding. So adaptive modification, our basic systems home repair that helps people who have faulty roofs and or plumbing problems, electrical problems. This is how we support that constituency. Guess what? You cut that funding from HUD, those services and supports, in essence, they go out the window, or we have to find another way to fund them. Public education, when you talk about eliminating the Department of Public Education for $500 million, that was quantified of over 1,200 teachers are funded through those dollars. So in a very tangible way. And I another reason why I love the way you just framed that is because there are tangible results. I'm not a platitudes person, Pastor. I hate it when people, speak in general, and you don't tell me how I can quantify, what it is that you're referencing. If we're going to lose this pot of money, I should be able to tell you, the direct quantifiable amount of people who are going to be impacted by it. Right. And that's why we created something called Philly Stat 360. Yes, right now you can go to the City of Philadelphia's website or Philly Stat Up 360, and you can get an actual overview of the amount of streets we've paved, the amount of houses we've helped to repair, all of the supports and services that we've been providing. We created a vehicle so that you can measure it. And I have to believe what somebody is saying in the speech, or if they rah-rahing and putting their hands in the air. But what are you delivering for me that I can see, touch, and feel in my life and in my neighborhood? So that's what my focus is, Pastor.
Got you. Thank you for that. So speaking to the cleaning of the city, the cleaner, greener economic opportunity for all. So one of the things that we have done, I want you all to know that not when Cherelle became the mayor, Madam Parker became the mayor, but before this, when she was city council, we have been partnering through our Enon Culture Development Corporation to clean corridors in the 9th Councilmanic District. And we've been doing that for a long time. We've expanded it, but I know that you have a vision for that that's bigger than what we're doing. Where is that, and what is that vision for the cleaning of the city?
Pastor One, I have to say thank you. I was talking or overheard someone else speaking probably last year this time when we were going through the budget process. And the program is called Philadelphia Taking Care of Business, PHLTCB. And Pastor, they called it my little pet project. That's what they called it. And I took a deep breath and thought about you, Enon Coulter. I thought about Fifth Street, the business association there. I thought about all of the community-based organizations who accepted the challenge when we said, listen, if we can secure, which was I don't know if you remember, I really say thank you because the dollars were so small, but you found a way to get it done, but that we could partner with a limited amount of resources from government with these organizations who would literally hire people who lived in the community, low barrier to no barrier employment. We don't care about what you have been through in the past. You want a job and you want to work. We're going to give you access to the ability to earn $15 an hour, the ability to get Safe Serve certification, soft skills, resume writing. But you're going to help us clean up our neighborhoods so we can try to get rid of this Philadelphia moniker. Right. And Pastor, you all, because I didn't do that work. I just in my mind came up with the concept. The organizations did the work. You found the people. They went on Old Gants Avenue, Stanton Avenue, Wadsworth Avenue, Broad and Alney, 5th Street, Castor Avenue, Rising Sun Avenue. And people began to say, something's different here. And we said, this is our proof of concept. Not a speech, but we had to put the systems in place to implement them, and we had to have partners. So now we've scaled it citywide, but in this budget address that I'm going to give, I think it's the 13th, I get to talk about how we want to expand it across the city. But what does that mean? Yeah. Pastor, can you get on the phone and call some friends and tell them, who lead or have nonprofit organizations to say when an opportunity presents itself, you can't point your finger and say, the city of Philadelphia is dirty when there's a vehicle for your nonprofit organization to partner with us and help to clean it up. So that's a proof of concept example. Thank you.
So thank you for that. So I'm hearing that what we have done and been doing, you are going to open up for other organizations to be able to do. And to be very specific, I have the Enon Culture Development Corporation, which is our CDC, our own 501c3. We're able to catch dollars that then we turn right around to hire people who are working in the streets and cleaning the streets. These are not dollars that come to the church. These are dollars that go right into the street to help others. And I hear you saying you're ready to expand that. And if there are other churches or organizations that are fiscally ready to catch these dollars, you can also hire people to go into the streets to make a difference. And so if somebody hears this and says, you know what, I want to know more about that, who do they reach out to, or how do they find out how to get in position for that?
They should immediately go to the City of Philadelphia's website, www.phila.gov. Click on the Commerce Department. The program is managed by Alba Martinez. She's our Commerce Director. She has an amazing team, Dennis, Salim, whole lot of others, and they're doing an amazing job with it. But you all had to take the risk, right? What if it didn't work? What if you said, okay, I'm going to try to help, and then people say, we don't want to do that work? Or what if the people who were doing the work got out there to do it, and it was so much that it never appeared to make a difference? Yet folks and organizations have to be willing to take the risk, and your moniker is now connected with the program. So when it says, people look at Wadsworth Avenue and Stanton Avenue, They know that's the Enon culture community. It's not just the city of Philadelphia, but you showed us some of that. And not everybody is always willing to take that risk. But for those of you who did, I'm grateful. I'm grateful because that's the only way we'll do this. And now the people who do the cleaning, they said the business owners stop them and say, thank you. Can we give you a breakfast sandwich? Can we give you some water? You see the sense of pride, and dignity in doing the work. And I'm really happy about that.
And I am excited about the work and looking forward to expanding. Now, anytime anyone talks with you or anytime we get to talk about our city, it won't be long before we have to talk about what's happening with the schools. Where are we going? What is your understanding of what needs to happen with our schools and what are you doing to see that come to pass?
Pastor, thank you for that. And public education, and you know this about me, I am extremely sensitive about it because I am a first-generation college graduate in my family, Lincoln University, first-generation Ivy League graduate in my family, University of Pennsylvania. Every ounce of any opportunity that I've ever had, it has come through the foundation provided to me in public schools. That is why when I first got elected, the first thing I did was say, we need to make an additional investment in public education. Nobody had to lobby me or tell me the school district needed the revenue. I saw the results of the precedent, the court ruling, that the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, it has been derelict in its duties to provide a thorough and efficient public education for all students in the Commonwealth, but especially right here in the city of Philadelphia. So we increased the millage. What do I mean when I say that, Philadelphia? When I first got elected and started in January of 2024, 55% or 55 cents of every dollar went to public education. When I ran, I said we need to increase that number. So we increased that millage rate, that percentage from 55 to 56. Between that, along with the assessments, the property assessments in the city, we have delivered over $250 million. Not what we're going to do, not what we hope to do. We have already delivered, and because we do it in a 5-year plan. It's not like a 1-year hit, unlike other cities and even states who can year to year, they just get to pass a budget. Philadelphia is required by law to have a balanced budget for 5 years that's approved by a vehicle called PICA that provides us with somewhat of budget oversight. Okay. And so $250 million over our 5-year plan. That's not including our extended day, extended year, which is provided out of school time support before school, after school, spring break, Christmas break for students in the school district of Philadelphia. And we're going to double that support. So those are the kinds of investments that I'm really excited about. I'm also really biased about teachers. I'm the mayor, but I'm a teacher by profession. I'm a certified secondary high school English teacher. And quite frankly, teachers are underpaid. I was happy about Governor Shapiro's proposal to provide a stipend to student teachers. I did my student teaching at Coatesville High School, and boy, oh boy, would I've been able to put that stipend to use when I was a senior at Lincoln. But to do it now when there's such a shortage of teachers, particularly here in Philadelphia, that's important. And when I give my budget address on the 13th, Pastor, aside from the work that we've already done to invest that $250 million funded by Philadelphia, not the state, in public education, I hope teachers and those who support public education that they're going to be proud, because it's a dignified career. It's essential to everything about our world and our humanity, and they should be paid accordingly.
Absolutely. And I affirm all that you're talking about with that. And we're going to continue to follow what's going on with public education. And we recognize that, I'm a traditionalist, so I want to see properly funded schools. And last week we talked about with the governor that they fixed the formula and just have to get more dollars into the formula. Now, I know there are a lot of you that are itching to ask a question. We're just doing 30 minutes, and there's somebody that wants me to ask this question or the other. What I want to ask is, how do we measure your success? Meaning, this is an opportunity for you to tell us, here's what I'm going to do, here's what I'm doing, and here's how you can measure whether I did it. You know, there's a bunch of stuff that's going on in the city. You're going to need all 8 years to get everything that you want done. I get that. But what are you working on now? What's our most pressing need from your perspective? And what are the benchmarks that we could watch to say, she's doing what she said she was going to do?
That's right.
And this is good or bad. Talk to us about how to measure what you're saying you're doing.
Pastor, that becomes extremely important. One, by division, safe, clean, green, economic opportunity for all. Sounds good, Mayor Cherelle Parker. How you going to get it done? By giving you a government that you can see, touch, and feel. The stats, when we talk about homicides, public safety in the city, that's the number one priority. I don't care who you are. If people don't feel safe going to and from work, to and from school, there won't be businesses or anybody who wants to live here. So I was unapologetic of talking about public safety. 37% reduction in homicides, 36% reductions in shootings, 200 officers proactively walking the beat and riding a bike, that getting to know the communities that they're sworn to protect and serve without us calling 911. But do you feel safer in your neighborhoods? So you have to be able to quantify the results, but you also have to talk about how do you feel about your city. And that's what the question that I ask often. I got here January 24th. Do you think by this January 24th, we were better off before?
Okay.
Right? So Maya Angelou, people will forget what you said, what you did, but they will never, ever forget how you made them feel. We can talk about those stats, but it's about people seeing government at work in their lives. I use Kensington. People said, she's not going to do anything down there. She's just going to ignore it. As if we had the ability to, wave a wand and all of the ills of Kensington would go away overnight. That took generations and decades of divestment and lack of investment in order to occur. I would argue that our Kensington revival plan, it is working. We are working on great cleaning. We have an additional class of officers who are patrolled solely into that area. They gave an update to talk about the amount of narcotics and other illegal drugs they've taken off the street, dollar amounts. People were getting into treatment. We created a wellness center that will focus on our strategy. So when I talk about public safety and even addiction, you hear me talk about a comprehensive strategy. It's not one thing. It's prevention, intervention, and enforcement. And so between Commissioner Bethel and Public Safety Director Gear, Managing Director Teal, my big three, Tiffany Thurman, Sincere Ray Harris, Vanessa Garrett Harley, getting the best and the brightest people, the cabinet, to implement the agenda. And then Kristen Bray and OIT, Melissa Scott Walker, putting that Philly 360 up. People actually ask me, Pastor, are you sure you want to do that? What if you fall short on the number of streets? Director, Public Safety, Clean and Green Director Carlton Williams, he's done a phenomenal job cleaning over 40,000 blocks. Piloting twice per week street cleaning, having residential street cleaning teams going up and down neighborhood blocks, giving people a government that they can see, touch, and feel. But people ask me, why would you put the stats up? Because what if you fail to meet the goals that you said that you've set out for yourself in our city? I said, what you want me to do? Not think high? Not be ambitious and have big goals? If I reach for the moon and I get the stars, I'm okay. But Philly will say, at least our mayor is at work. She's trying, and she's trying to do the best she can with what she has.
So to that, for the person that's listening, I want to be very clear. You're saying that there is, you said Philly 360?
Philly Stat 360, yes.
And so talk to the people about how does that work? Somebody can go to a website or somebody can look. Help us understand what that literally means.
So Philly Stat 360 is a tool where we as a city literally quantify for you how we are doing in delivering services. Haven't been on it in a few days, but if you go on, you will actually see the number of potholes that are filled, the number of streets that have been repaved. I'm thinking about the number of people that we've been able to transition over to our wellness center off the street. Any support or service that's offered by the city of Philadelphia, we give you a quantifiable update on how we're doing. And again, it is pretty risky because what about when the number of abandoned cars being removed off the street? What about when that doesn't meet the mark? Well, we show where we're doing well, but we also can't be afraid to say this is where we need to ramp up our efforts and do a little bit better. And the idea that I don't have to have our work, the hard work of our municipal unions, who we're working hard right now because they deserve a multi-year contract. They had contracts extensions with us for a year, and I want to say I'm grateful to each and every one of our municipal unions. The hard-working men and women who do this work, they're out on the street doing it. We need to lift it up. So you know that people are hard at work every day making this city run. So please visit Philly.gov. You'll see a link for Philly Stat 360, or just Google Philly Stat 360, and it'll take you straight to the website. I'm really proud of that one.
Thank you for that. Now, I want to ask a Maynard Jackson question. I know when you all were running, I was in rooms and most people were saying, okay, what will be the Maynard Jackson moment? Some people critique Philly and say we haven't had one yet. Most people, and not most people, I own these words. Maynard Jackson did something in Atlanta that just made Atlanta feel like this is a place black people can make it. That's the job of a mayor. I know that you all were asked, what will be your Maynard Jackson moment? How do you understand the plight of black people in Philly? And what are you trying to do, or what is your Maynard Jackson move? Because some of us would argue that Philly got a lot going on and people want to move here. The spigot still doesn't feel like it's pouring in the black community. How do you understand that, and what are you doing about that?
So one, in any and everything that the city of Philadelphia does, and particularly with Cherelle Parker being the mayor of the city of Philadelphia, I can't be a product of humble beginnings raised by my grandparents, a grandmother, domestic worker, daddy, a retired Navy veteran. My mother was a single teenage mother. Biological father was not a consistent part of my life growing up. I can't start there. If I was a silver spoon person, maybe you could question that. But starting where I started from, Pastor, if I don't understand the assignment when I get here, there is something humanely wrong with me. Every tool that we have, I have to be thinking about, how am I going to put Philadelphia on a path to self-sufficiency? How am I going to give people a government that they can see, touch, and feel, and give folks the ability to own? That's why 30,000 units of housing becomes extremely important, with a very strong focus on home ownership, but also understanding that preservation is important. So who are the people developing the homes? Where do they come from, and where do they live? Well, building generational wealth for many folks, all folks, but particularly in the black and brown community, and especially here in Philadelphia, where historically home ownership rates may have been challenging for black folks. But here in the city of Philadelphia, we had the formula where we had done it well. Well, something happened there. The rates of home ownership decrease. And then now we almost like at a 50-50. Some people will tell you that we might even be at 49-51 on the side of renters. Now, use every tool possible. To me, politics, government, it is simply a tool that is used to decide how scarce resources are allocated. I have to use every tool at my disposal to give people access to the economic opportunity to be self-sufficient. And that means giving you access to the opportunity to compete. I'm going to use Della Clark because we're about to make the announcement of $1 million into the Innovate Capital Fund and into the Accelerator Fund. Well, this is for the patient capital and love capital. Black folks traditionally haven't had the ability to have patient or love capital. What I mean, we get debt investments. We have to go to the bank and take out a loan. We, quite frankly, haven't often benefited from growing up in a household where you say, I want to start a business, and daddy or mommy says, well, here's the check. Here's your $500,000 or $1 million to go. Open up your business. Well, what if I did have access to some patient capital where I could focus on being innovative and growing the business? That helps me to move forward. So those are the innovative ways. Some people, and I don't want to make anybody mad, but it's on my spirit right now, so I need to say it.
All right.
There are some folks who are really good, Pastor, with sort of fist in the air and saying all the right things. But I'm like Baldwin. Don't simply listen to what I say. Watch what I do. And we have to use government in such a way where people can see it. Don't stand with me, if we're talking about the extrajudicial killing of black and brown people. But when it comes to economic opportunity, you leave me high and dry. Why don't we own businesses in neighborhoods that are primarily African American? Who owns the corner stores in those communities? Who has been, in essence, who's become consumers in the communities that they live in? I don't care what neighborhood you go in. I want all of Philadelphians, because I also want to be clear about this. I'm the mayor of Philadelphia. I live at the intersection of race and gender, and I've been black and a woman all of my life. But when I say I understand the assignment, it's not just for one constituency. It's for all people in the city of Philadelphia. And I'm unapologetic about using access to economic opportunity as a tool to do just that. But I appreciate that. My main moment, and Council President Kenyatta Johnson and I, we talk about this. It's going to be these 30,000 units of housing.
Okay.
It's the foundation of a healthy and safe community. Children can't go to school. People can't go to work. You need a place to live, no matter how humble my beginnings were. I had a home that I went into, every day. I didn't have to worry about that. All Philadelphians should have access to that. And when we do that, I think that will be the moment, along with business opportunities. 2026 is coming along. I mean, that's another opportunity for us. Trailblazing, trend-setting opportunity for Philadelphia to ensure that there's access to economic opportunity for all. And I'm going to continue pushing for that.
Thank you for that. And when you say 2026, you're talking about all of the celebration of the 250th.
Yes.
We are also looking forward to that because this church will be 150 years old. And we are a reconstruction organization. Enon was started in 1876. You can't talk about America without talking about the Reconstruction Negro. And we're hoping that in all that we do to celebrate 250, that we're able to get the message about that unique Negro before Jim Crow, the Negro that scared this country so much that they started Jim Crow, because that's who we really are. And so we're hoping to slide our conversation and our information along with the 250, because you can't talk about America without talking about Reconstruction and what we meant to this country. I just thought I'd throw that in there.
No, that's important, Pastor.
Yeah.
Because when you talk about Reconstruction, Reconstruction is a reflection of self-sufficiency. Don't give me access to the opportunity to stand on my own.
That's right.
Don't just, do what you think is giving me a handout. Give me access to the tools to stand up. Public education, a foundation. Strong faith, of course, a part of that foundation. But give me access to tools so that I can stand up on my own. That's poverty, violence. Give a person access to a career, a job where they can earn the living wage. Health care and retirement security. So they don't need access to government to do anything except for pay their bills. That's it. And so I'm really committed to that. I appreciate you bringing up Reconstruction. That's self-sufficiency.
That's it. So thank you for being here. Madam Cherelle Parker, who is a member of the Enon Tabernacle Baptist Church. We are proud of you and appreciate you. But in our prophetic role, we also want to, in a very spiritual and political way, know that we're both praying for you and pushing you as well. What have I not asked you that you think people need to hear from the mayor before we get out of here? Is there anything I didn't ask you about, or is there something that is happening that you're doing in this city that people should look out for or know about?
One, I want to say thank you, Pastor. And prayer becomes extremely important. In government and in politics, people are sometimes paralyzed into not making tough decisions because you want everybody to like you. I didn't come here for that. What I did come here to do was to use government as a tool to deliver for people. And that means that sometimes you make decisions that a lot of people don't like, but you have to be willing to carry it. And that's what leadership means to me. So every thought and prayer and text message, when it's been a tough time, and because I live a public life, and people say, listen, we see that you're trying, keep moving, keep going. I want to say thank you for being my spiritual leader, but for all of Philadelphia and really people outside of the Philadelphia who communicate with us. Know that I'm doing the best I can with what I have, where I am. Some people want to see me fighting 1,000,001 battles, at a time. Right now, I'm laser focused on delivering for the people in the city. I will not be distracted. I'm laser focused on making sure people can see our work in their lives. And I won't allow politics, any election, federal or state or local government to stop me from staying focused on delivering for the people. And that I don't apologize for, Pastor. Mm-hmm. That's how we're going to get people, I think, to believe in government, that it can work for them again.
Madam Cherelle Parker, Mayor of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, thank you so much for being here. Thank you all for taking this time out to hear this conversation. It's real talk, and we're going to continue to be here every Saturday evening to talk about what's going on in our church, what's going on in the community. I am looking forward to the end of this week. You know that there are some mighty men from Morehouse coming up, and we are going to host them on Thursday, but I'm very proud of Jordan Phillips, who is a member of this church, who is a senior in Morehouse, and he's bringing the men up. These boys are going to be, men are going to be going to some of our area schools, going to inspire some young people here. So we're asked that you keep that in prayer. And also Eastern University is celebrating 100 years, and we're going to host that on this Saturday. So there's a lot happening this week. Please keep it in prayer. Don't forget to join us each morning at 6:30. And you're also going to hear some more about, let me just let you know about this, Fox News. I'm going to be on, I believe, on Wednesday morning, and we're talking about some stuff that's going on with our music. So keep that in prayer. Keep our mayor in prayer. Keep this community in prayer. Let's go to God in prayer. God bless you and God keep you is my prayer. God, I love you and thank you. I thank you for the unique leadership and calling of Mayor Cherelle Parker. I thank you for how you're using her. I ask, Lord, that you bother her when she gets far from you. I ask that you bother her when she is treading in unsure places. And I also ask that you comfort her to let her know that you are with her. I pray, oh God, that you give her spiritual insight and vision. And I pray, oh God, that you give her protection, Lord, that she can stand as the bold woman that she is and that she can do the task. We know that she's not required. None of us are required to complete the task, but we have to give our best shot at the task. And so, God, we ask that you move by your Spirit. We pray for tomorrow morning and our worship experience. We pray for the Lenten season. And we pray, oh God, that your will would be done on earth as it is in heaven. Now, God, as we go, we would that you go with us, stand by us until we meet again. It is through Christ, and for his sake we do pray. Let us all say, amen. God bless you. God keep you is my prayer.